Hey, thanks for watching Kevin's Corner. You know, out of all the DIY stuff that we talk about and preach about here, automotive upholstery is one that doesn't get a whole lot of attention, and there's really no good reason why. Doing your own upholstery work can be just as rewarding as doing paint and body work, and you can create pieces that look outstanding in your vehicle with kind of a limited understanding and knowledge and some very basic tools and equipment. Let's talk about this before we show you how to do this. Now, we're doing simple projects, so all we need is simple supplies, including a spray aerosol, single-edge razor blades, some simple markers, a pair of scissors, plastic resurfacer, and rust encapsulator, as well as some acetone, some simple paper. And I don't know why we have a cordless drill, but you just never know. Now, the big project we're going to show you how to do today is a headliner. We've got an aftermarket ABS headliner for our 78 Camaro Project Z sled. And we're going to use the same procedures on the headliner as I've used on these seatbelt mechanism covers and the pillar panels. We're going to cover up some of the nasty metal that's still left on the inside of the car. Now, rust encapsulator looks great on these pillar covers, and it's a nice tool to have. But check this out. This is rust. We've sandblasted this, and we've exposed some rust. The rust encapsulator will cover this up and give us a good foundation to where we're not going to have any rust-through issues or delamination of our fabric using this as a foundation and a base. So that's why we've got the rust encapsulator kicking around. Now, the material that we're going to use, we got from TMI. You can get it from Joann's Fabrics, any fabric center. It is a ultra suede material. It's a synthetic suede. It looks fantastic. It's got stretch in two different directions, and we'll show you why that's important later. And it's got a fantastic look, and it's very strong, very durable. But we're not ready to rock and roll just yet. There's some surface prep we got to talk about. Now, these are various trim pieces from the interior in Z sled. These are metal, these are plastic. Now, the plastic parts look like this. This is oxidized plastic. It looks horrible, but as you can see, we've sandblasted the oxidation, exposed the good plastic that we can actually glue our fabric to, and gotten rid of this layer of crusty stuff that is going to do us absolutely no good and probably cause a failure in our fabric delaminating down the road. So now we've got our surface prepped. We've abraded all of the loose oxidized plastic off the surface, wiped everything down with acetone, and we're ready to go. So let's talk about our ABS headliner. Now, the original headliner was absolutely toast, and in the car from the factory, they came cardboard. And that's probably why it went away. So this one is ABS plastic. We got it off an internet auction site, and it was cost effective, got it delivered, rolled up in a tube, and we've trimmed it to fit, and we're ready to put our fabric on. Even though it comes textured, it's probably made to where you can just put it in like this. Not really good enough. TMI really kicked it up a notch with the interior, and we're going to follow suit, especially since they sent us a couple of yards of fabric that look great and will match the inserts of the seat. But you can't just start slapping it on there. There's a technique for this, and it starts with making sure you've got enough fabric. Surprise. It's just the right size. Okay, so we pre-cut it, whatever. My point is this, you want to make sure that you've got your pieces cut before you're ready to go. Sometimes this fabric is very expensive to buy, and you only really want to have one shot at this. Redoing stuff, trust me, it's a pain in the butt, and you want to make it count the very first time. So now that we've got our piece established, we've overcut the outsides by a couple of inches all the way around, which gives us plenty of fabric to either wrap it around or make some mistakes, make some relief cuts and pull and twist and push and all that kind of stuff. But we've established that our fabric is the right size. We're going to roll it back up. We got to prep our surface just like painting a car, just like every other aspect of restoration. There's some surface prep involved, and it's really not that difficult. This is a sheet molded plastic, and the release agent is typically silicone. Solvents typically don't stick very well to silicone, so we're using some pre-painting prep spray and just doing a simple wipe down just to make sure that there's no more mold release agent left on our headliner that's going to interfere with the adhesion of the headliner material, because we've all seen that. The goofy headliner hanging down. Nobody wants that. Now, pre-painting prep is a great thing to have kicking around your shop. So while you're buying the rest of your supplies to do this or another project, stop in at Eastwood, make sure you get some pre-painting prep. If you don't have any on hand, you're going to be making a trip to a home center sooner or later anyways, or a hardware store. Acetone is also a great thing to have around. It's an aggressive solvent, and it's going to leach into your skin. Be careful, be safe, wear some gloves whenever you're working with solvents. So, we've got our surface prepped. We're super clean. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to get this out of the way, and now we're going to lay down our fabric. There's always going to be two sides to your fabric. There's the back side and what I'm going to call the face side. The face side is the leather look, or in our case, the suede look. So what we're going to do, make sure our fabric is laid out exactly where we want it, with plenty of room around all the outside edges to cut and trim. You don't want to short sheet yourself. You want to make sure that you've got ample around each side so that you can have options. I've got at least 2 inches of overlap, even a little bit more around all my outside edges. So now what I'm going to do is peel it back, roll it back. We're going to expose as close as I can figure to half of this fabric. Now it's glue time. This carpet and general purpose adhesive is perfect for the project we're doing because our fabric is light and it's a fairly flat surface. We're not demanding a whole lot out of this adhesive, and it's a perfect DIY project. Now, anything like this requires being shaken. Shake it till your balls rattle. And here's where the paper comes in handy. This is not expensive body shop masking paper. This is just home center paper that we got for cheap. Where it comes in handy is just for masking everything that you don't want your spray adhesive to get on, such as the face side of your fabric. Make sure you're spraying in a well-ventilated area. And what we're going to do is we're going to spray the first half of our headliner first, then we're going to spray our headliner fabric and work our way through this project. Just like a spray gun, you want to use a 50% overlap, and make sure you get a good coat of the spray adhesive on. You don't want any holidays or holes, because you want a good contact patch, just like a high-performance tire on the road. And just for good measure, I'm going to go back the other way. Make sure we got a good coat of glue. Because this is a contact cement. When it comes into contact with something similar, it's going to stick like crazy. So you want to have it tacky and have your other surface match up to it. Now here's the other thing too. You don't want to oversaturate your fabric with the adhesive, because sometimes if your fabric is fairly thin, it can map through and kind of look buddish. All right, we're gonna let that sit and dry, or at least until it's tacky. Listen, that's tacky, that's ready. Now, there's a strategy here. You want to kind of start in the middle and work your way out. So, here's the fun part. We're going to take the fabric and start working it little at a time. I've got my hand on the inside of it and I'm rolling it on. We're tacky here, we're tacky there, we're ready. I'm coming from the other side. Doing it like this, I can feel whether it's smooth or not. It's given me a good idea where I need to be. See, right here, I'm goofing up. But I can take it from the inside and I can smooth it on a little bit at a time. I don't want to get in a hurry. No jackrabbit upholstery here. It's just a smooth, simple, almost a Zen-like process. And it's really not that difficult. But you got to take your time. And while you're taking your time, you got to pay attention. For instance, right here, I'm running out of glue. This has no adhesive on it, so we need to start again. Here's where another piece of paper comes in handy. I don't want adhesive on the face side, so I'm tucking this underneath, making sure that I'm covered here. Covered here. So now I don't have to worry about being surgical with my glue application. I don't even have to be careful. And that leaves me the ability to focus on the job at hand and not applying the product. Remember, we're waiting till this is tacky again. So it's tacked up, and again, I'm working my way from the middle, just rolling this fabric out. If you got an extra set of hands, sometimes you can take advantage of your buddy in the best possible way, and have one person at each end, and then one person smoothing down from the middle, and you can get the job done even faster. But if you're a one-man band like I am an awful lot of time, just taking your time and working your way through it, well, it works out. Okay, now that looks outstanding. So while this side is curing, the two parts of the glue are sticking together. Now we can roll this side back to where there's no adhesive at all. And now we can safely and easily do the back side without having to handle a giant 2-yard piece of fabric and get in a freaking hurry and make a dang mess. So what I've done right here is pull my adhesive back and expose the glued edge, so now I can overlap that and I don't have a gap right here that'll hang down in my face later on. Not fun. Hit it another direction. Again, another 50% overlap. I just want to make sure I've got an even layer of adhesive. Now, if you see you're getting some debris every once in a while on your fabric, you can just take a brush, get rid of that. Sometimes just sweeping it off with your hand is a better idea. All right, we're ready. Now, it doesn't take long for the adhesive to set up. As a matter of fact, we're ready. That's about a minute, maybe a minute. And again, I'm starting from the middle, and I'm smoothing with my fingertips, working my way onto this headliner, just rolling the fabric out. I wish I could show you from the bottom side, but I can't. That's it. Got your fabric down. I'm just running my hands over to make sure I don't have any bubbles or folds, and we're good. So now, since I used my paper and I protected my worktop, now I can safely flip my headliner over and address the backside without having to worry about dipping this into freshly applied adhesive. End up with areas like this, Don't freak out. I was a little bit light on the adhesive application here. Just giving it a spritz. Make sure I get on both sides. Again, a little bit more right here. Let it sit a little bit. Viola. There's a repair. Now here's where your single edge razor blades come in handy. You're going to trim this outside edge. With scissors, well, the glue is going to gum up your scissors. Single edge razor blades, they don't gum up very much. What you want to leave is about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of overlap all the way around, so that way you can fold this over and have a nice finished edge. So we're going to start our trim. The single edge razor blade, please be careful. We'll show you how to do corners in a minute. You don't want to overcut. You always want to make sure you have enough to wrap around the outside edge. It creates a nice finished edge, even though these guys are not exposed, they're covered by moldings. You still want to have a nice professional look, just in case there's a peekaboo and somebody sees something underneath, or you have an edge that you didn't count on being exposed. You can make sure that you're covered and have a nice professional look. All right, here's another thing I want to point out. Nothing's ever wasted. This piece right here, it's my overage from the other edge, but it's also going to be my roof rail piece right there. So don't waste. If you plot it out and you plan it out correctly and properly, then you can really make the most of your expensive fabric. Right here, we're going to overlap this, but obviously it won't stick without some adhesive. Got my table protected, and I'm coming back in with a round of adhesive around the entire border. Because that's what we're going to stick to. Okay, and it tacks up real quick, so we're going to just roll it over, keeping pressure on this edge. There we have a nice finished edge. Now we don't want to fold this over because we're going to have a big giant lump right there. So now we're going to cut and trim along the top edge. I'm going to trim here. Well, I can't really show you. Trim here, cut it off like so. And now I can roll it over. I can minimize my buildup right there. But here's another trick. I'm going to take and cut a 45-degree angle, bam, right through there. That guy's coming off, trim to fit. Now, it's a super nice bevel with almost no buildup, and that's not going to stack up. The same thing on that side. Trim it back. Roll it over. Carefully cut my bevel. Now minimize my edge. But what about right here? What about this? Sometimes your fabric has got enough stretch. This has got some stretch, but not enough there. So since this is the back side, we just do a simple relief cut there, a relief cut there, and since we've left ourselves enough room to push and to pull, and right there, we've got a beautiful finished edge. Since I know I need a relief cut here, I'm going to fold, work my way around that corner. Again, another Ron Mangus Rockstar edge right there. We don't want that overlap, so we're going to make a nice finished corner. And again, we're just working our way around. Now, we can make some progress. I'm just going to give a light refresh of my adhesive, just to keep it good and tacky, so I can take my time in gluing things down. Another relief cut there. Big flats fold over easily. Right there, got some nasty. Right there. I could even trim it right now. Come over there, relief cut. You'll figure out a rhythm. Seems like I'm in a hurry, but I'm not. I've just done this before, and I'm not racing against time with the adhesive, but I do know that there's a window. Now on this corner, I'm going to sneak up on it. I'm going to come with the flat on either side of it and work my way in. Now this is my opening for the dome light, and I'm going to apply the same technique on here. I'm going to split it right down the middle, and then I'm just going to see what the fabric wants to do. I'm going to relief cut when I need to, do a bunch of reliefs where I can spread this around, open it up like a flower petal, and have an easy job of folding this back and creating an opening where I can install my dome light from the other side. Now, it's always a good idea to clean the back side or the perimeter as well, because it's probably got the same mold release agent as the front side did. So now we can fold it around. And this, when you see my dome light, you're going to see that I didn't have to go through this kind of seemingly unnecessary step of creating a finished edge. But it reads to the integrity of the project. And I'm not really even doing this for this car. I might be even doing this for the guy that might come behind me and pull the headliner out and see that I actually did a pretty good job on every corner and every crevice. So invest your heart into it, as silly as it seems, on something as simple as a headliner installation. Make sure that you're going the full 9, that you're doing this the right way and creating a workpiece that you're proud of. All my edges look good. Dome light hole looks good. Let's flip it over, see what we've got. Now that, my friends, that looks fantastic. There's a couple little places here and there. Again, I'm going to take my soft bristle washing brush. Okay, I've got a little bit of adhesive right there. I don't know, well, no, it went away. Sometimes when it dries, it'll just roll off, especially on this ultra suede. Okay. Well, in case you get some adhesive on the surface side, especially on ultra leather or even leather itself, you can take some pre-painting prep and just gently daub it on and roll that adhesive off. But for now, we got a real nice result. I'm not going to say lucky because luck has nothing to do with it. It's just simply applying a few little skills. One last thing I want to show you. Here's my dome light. It looks swanky in there from a late model Buick. I like it. It's going to look good in that old Camaro. Tell you what, I'm proud of that. Now, you might be asking yourself, if it's not a flat panel or a very simple curve, something like a sun visor, what can I do? What's a good DIY project for my sun visors? Well, unless you have a sewing machine and really know how to do it, something like a sun visor, which is a three-dimensional project, it's very difficult to do with the glue and the light-duty fabric because there's no real way to join it. However, Eastwood's plastic resurfacer is a wonderful product. I'm going to do that on the sun visors. I've restored the entire dashboard of Z-Sled. My headlight bezels, stuffed into the engine compartment because the plastic resurfacer becomes part of the plastic itself. It's translucent, it's black, it bites in, it's not paint, it's not vinyl dye, it won't roll off, it becomes part of the surface itself. So that's going to be a very acceptable finish job on this, and it's going to tie in perfectly with the black accents and the rest of the interior. This stuff will live up to the high level of interior that TMI Products provided us with the seat covers and door trim panels and quarter panel kick panels. So, a simple DIY project. Hope we've shown you something that you can take and run with and apply to your vehicle. All of this stuff, short of the fabric, you can pick up at Eastwood.com. So come and check out Z-Sled. Keep on watching Hands on Cars, and thanks for watching Kevin's Corner. Remember, Eastwood, do the job right.